Hey guys, welcome back to this place. And if you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, and today we are watching season 1, episode 2 of The Haunting of Hill House. I'm actually pretty excited, which I was not expecting going into it because I thought I was just going to be really nervous the entire time watching it, and I wasn't going to get too excited. But I have become pretty attached to the family. I think the Cranes, based off of Stephen's books. So, yeah, I've become attached to the Cranes. I'm curious about the Dudleys, and I kind of need to know what happens next. I really like Stephen. I really like Theodora. I really like Shirley. I really liked Nellie, but we know what happened to her in the first episode, unfortunately. I also really like Luke. I think that they all are very interesting, and the course that their lives took obviously is deeply affected by the events of Hill House, and I'm really excited to see the show delve more into that and to be able to sort of psychoanalyze all of them and where they've been and how they got to be where they are now, because I think that that's really fun to sort of try to figure out why people react the way they react to certain events and traumas throughout their lives. I don't know. I think that's fascinating. I assume there will be more jump scares and more scary stuff in general. Luckily for me, I am watching it in a room with lots of lights because of the reaction aspect. If I was watching this in the dark, I would be even more scared. Like, I kind of wish I could watch it in the dark so that you could see my reaction to that, but I'm also glad that I don't have to. Also, really quick before we get started, a few of you guys did let me know that it is bent neck lady, not bit neck lady. So I do know that. I'm keeping that in mind. I have my own theories about how whoever she is became bent neck. It's kind of an obvious theory. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because I'm ready to get into it. So let's do that.
And I told her not to, but she was there again last night.
I believe him.
She looked different.
What do you mean?
Her fingers were purple. She did have teeth, and she did not have hair. I don't want to see her again, so I'm not going to look at her tomorrow. And I don't want to see her in the open castle.
That's fair. I feel like he shouldn't be forced to look at her.
Before she's ever even in the casket, I'm gonna fix her. That's what I do.
I don't love open caskets and all of that stuff.
This is our forever house.
Oh, she's designing it.
Just looks like a lot of lines.
Well, that's all it is right now.
You know, a house is like a person's body. The walls are like bones. Needs to breathe, needs light and flow.
Yeah.
And it all works together to keep us safe and healthy inside.
I don't see any of that.
It's okay. When we finish fixing up this house...
And sell it for a lot of money.
You don't miss a thing, yes. Then we're gonna build the forever house, and we won't have to move ever again.
That's sad. Because I know it doesn't happen.
Don't forget the rule. Lights flash. Time to come home.
What if you're not looking in that direction, though? I'm scared he's gonna see that girl he was talking about. Ah!
I appreciate your advice.
No, don't leave.
That master key you had didn't work. You have any other ideas about that red door upstairs?
Afraid not. Not for that one.
What do the Dudleys know? What the hell is that? Sounds like kittens, yeah.
Hi.
If something happens to these kittens, you guys, I'm gonna be freaking pissed. I can't handle that.
Where's your mommy cat? She couldn't be far.
Tiny.
She needs to feed you.
Yeah.
But you're just the cutest little thing.
What? I couldn't tell. What was that?
It's a wasp nest.
Okay.
You see, sometimes they build their nests around things. Oh, there it is.
Built it around this. You know what that is?
A mask?
A Halloween mask.
What about the kittens?
We can't just leave them.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Dogs.
I don't know, Cheryl.
Please.
Mr. Dudley, have you ever seen those dogs? Do you think they'd go after kittens?
No dogs on the property.
Well, sure there are. The kids have been hearing them at night. They've heard them every night since we got here.
I've never seen dogs.
What the hell is that noise then that they're hearing?
Your wife definitely helped. Yeah. He's still nervous.
What's Nathan from One Tree Hill doing, sitting on that couch? He's not even actually there. Who's that?
Did you ever connect with Nell?
She doesn't know still?
Steve checked in with Luke. He's fine in rehab.
No.
This must be before Steve finds Nell's ghost.
Without an insurance policy, it's $6,000 a month, and we do recommend a 4 to 6 month commitment.
I'm sorry, did you say 6,000?
That's so much.
Sorry, Cheryl.
It's fine.
I mean, I could still do
You'll pay
some
me
of
back when you're a famous writer.
Apparently, historical fiction is out of vogue.
This is before he wrote the books about Hill House and everything.
Oh, shit. Wish me luck.
So this is his first time in rehab, but as we know, not his last.
You can do this.
Thanks.
You got this. They have horses.
She's trying so hard. There's the non-existent dogs.
What?
Excuse me?
What do you want? I don't even. Why are you banging on the wall
She's not.
and calling my name? What was that?
Clearly not her.
Shirley?
Oh God. Excuse me. Stop it. Why does it get me every time?
Didn't hear it. I don't...
It was so loud, how could you not hear it?
The hot water pipes.
They're not that loud.
Jump in the walls. I bet that's what it was. Oh.
Thanks.
Oh, fuck. Okay, is this when she's gonna find out?
Steve,
It is.
It's Nell. She's dead.
shut up.
He's not joking.
Not so.
This makes me sad.
What the fuck do you mean?
She killed herself.
No, I don't think she did.
You're wrong. Someone. They got it wrong. I
It
mean,
was
she was just.
Dad. It was your dad.
Who told you this?
Dad called me.
Well, he's wrong.
It's the last person she called.
Bullshit. She wouldn't call him. He can't do that again. He can't just not tell us what happened. He can't.
Like with your mom.
I told you.
Oh gosh.
I told you she was in trouble. I told you to find her. I told you.
Blaming is not gonna help.
What is it? What happened?
She gonna tell Thea? Did Steve call her? I'm sad.
Good morning.
Sorry, guys, I can't see or anything. Oh. That one is dead. I know it's fake, but I can't look at a fucking dead kitten. Like, that's not okay to me.
I'm not sure what her name was because her brothers and sisters all look the same, but I think she was the one I called Jasper. She was a good kitten, and she never hurt a single thing in her whole life, and not many people can say that. Goodbye, little kitty. I hope you have a safe trip to heaven, and she's alive.
What?
She swallowed. Look at her.
I know that... Honey, I know this is
Her
hard.
lips are moving. Pick up, little kitty. It's okay. I'm right here. It's
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. Fuck that. I'm sorry, you guys. I could not watch that. That's not okay to me. Cats are my weak point.
Honey, let someone else do it. You need to focus on you.
She's my sister. I'm hosting her funeral.
Is it gonna give everyone time? Steven, Luke, Dad?
Dad's the reason Nell was so fucked up to begin with, and Luke's probably high as a kite.
Thought he was in rehab.
He was, apparently, until this morning. They said he flew the coop.
Does he even know that she's dead?
No idea. If he doesn't, that's on him.
He deserves to be here.
Yeah, I agree with her.
He missed her wedding. We're not gonna let him miss her funeral, too.
He has time, but I'm not leaving her in a freezer until Luke gets his shit together. She'll be there forever.
She compartmentalizes to deal with stuff. I think that little boy's being haunted. You shouldn't make him.
I don't want to.
He shouldn't be forced to.
This is a good thing. You can do this. I'll go with you.
I don't want to go. No.
Here, come with me. This is insane.
Yeah.
This is too much for anyone.
I'm doing it, Kevin. I'm gonna fix her.
She feels it's the only way she can fix her because she couldn't help her in life. You know, this is sad. But it's not gonna make her better. It's not gonna make you feel better, I don't think.
I gotta go. I'm sorry. I just can't, Cheryl.
It's understandable. Don't look. Carl.
Can I feed the kittens? Sure thing. Just remember how I showed you. Are they still sleeping?
Did they all die?
No. Shirley?
Kittens aren't supposed to be without their mommies.
What about the little one?
We found it in a new home.
Why didn't you let me take care of it, or at least say goodbye?
Cheryl, we couldn't let you try to take care of a pet who was so sick.
But you gave it to someone else. I don't believe you. Tell me.
Just
Why would you give away the last one, the only one left?
Just quiet.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Stop it.
It's been a minute since you had one of your color storms.
There was no color at all. Pitch black.
What? I'm confused.
First migraine in what, a year?
I wish I'd been part of that conversation.
Look, she's gonna have a pretty messed up view of death coming out of this no matter what. Which wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have... You let her keep a box of diseased kittens in her bedroom. And now she's traumatized.
This was not our finest hour, no doubt.
Yeah. Her son?
Sorry.
You're not allowed down here. You know that.
I know. We were just...
Okay.
It's just Auntie Nell.
I know you're curious. I'm sad. I'm sad too. So sad I can't even tell you. Any questions you have are completely normal.
What are you doing to her?
I just finished embalming her. And it helps her look how we remember her.
Why did she die?
I'm just so sad that she did. She loved you both so much.
Where is she now?
Nobody knows. I can tell you what I think, maybe, sometime tomorrow. But mostly I'm just sad. Why don't you go pick your favorite picture of Auntie Nell from one of the albums? I And hang it at the funeral?
These kids got me fucked up too.
You're gonna look amazing. You already look amazing.
Her wedding.
Hey,
Hey,
you look amazing.
thanks. How's Arthur?
Oh, him. He's great. I handcuffed him to a radiator downstairs. He's not going anywhere.
Steve.
He's as happy as I've ever seen a guy.
It makes me sad. Luke.
Hey, I didn't know if this was the...
Hell,
What?
hold on.
What? Hey, I'm fine.
I paid for rehab. Guess who they called when you ran away last week?
Cheryl, she's expecting me to be here.
Oh, no, she's not. Nobody is. Today's about Nell. This is her day.
I just really want to be here for her.
You should have thought about that before you put the needle in your arm. It's a cab. 20? 30? Here's 100. You can shoot up the rest. I don't care.
Is everything okay?
Everything's perfect. We had a perfect wedding, Nellie.
Almost perfect.
I'm just like on the verge of tears this whole episode. It's fine. Like with the kitten. Oh God.
You fixed her.
Well, that's what I do.
So she must have seen her, what she looked like before. Her closest brushes with the death, I'm assuming. What? What the fuck was that? She's telling them to come home? To Hill House? Alright, so this episode focused a lot more on sort of how we deal with death and grief and trauma and family dynamics than anything sort of scary going on. There was definitely some mystery, like apparently there's no dogs, but there's dogs barking, whatever was going through the wall, and like the jump scare sort of the kitten crying at the end and all that stuff. But as a whole, this episode was more just me crying a lot, because I think it's actually really cool, because I came into this thinking that this was going to be mostly a horror show, right? And I thought like there would be family dynamics and stuff like that in it. But I thought for a majority of it was going to consist of jump scares and being scary, and the whole like dun, 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 you know, like the music ramping up until you're like, what is gonna happen? And then you get scared, right? Where I think that more than anything so far, the show has sort of been about how we deal with trauma and grief and death and those sorts of things, which I think is really interesting, and for me much more fascinating than just something that's scary. Although I can appreciate something that's just scary as well. I just get really scared, so it's more scary for me. But I really love how the show kind of is normalizing death, right? Like the characters in it are approaching death as a natural part of life, which it is. But there's a lot of fear around death, right, that everybody has. And I think that the characters in the show have a much more maybe mature approach than a lot of people. Something I do think is interesting, though, is that there's this idea that viewing, right? They, like Shirley was telling Max, like he needed to see his grandmother this particular way so that would be like the lasting image, you know? And Shirley saw her mom fixed, and it kind of helped her to grieve and to move on. However, I don't necessarily think that is true for everybody. I don't think that you have to see the person in order to grieve and move on and stuff. I think the act of a funeral, of getting to say goodbye, is incredibly important, but I don't think that the act of seeing the person fixed up is always has to be a part of the saying goodbye process, you know? Because of the nature of the show, I feel that Max actually is being haunted by his grandmother, as opposed to just the natural stages of grief that a person goes through. So I don't know that seeing her is gonna stop that, but I mean, I don't know. I do think that in some cases that can be a very beneficial part of moving on, but not in all cases, if that makes sense. But I do like that the show is sort of dealing very straightforwardly with this idea, like even Shirley talking to her kids about Nell and everything that she was doing, she's not trying to hide it. She's not trying to sugarcoat it. She's not, you know, kind of doing what her parents did of like, we sent the kitten to a family to get taken care of, or the old, you know, we sent the dog to like a farm to live out the rest of its life, to be happy, you know. She's just telling them the truth of stuff. So I think that that's good, and I think it's cool how it's also showing us Shirley's sort of progression of grief and how she understands things, right? Like her first brush with death was the kittens, and that got me, you guys, because I love cats. I love cats very much. So I did not want to see that. But that was her first experience of death, and then her mother, and presumably maybe people in between, but then ultimately Nell. And I thought that it was really interesting when she's closing the door and she sees her mother, and then she opens up the thing and it's the kittens, you know, screaming, because, you know, the way she deals with death now is directly related to the way that she grieved and dealt with death then, which I just think is interesting. It's also really cool to see sort of the little family dynamics between everybody, and to just kind of see the people that they became. Last episode we saw a lot of Steve, and this episode we saw a lot of Shirley. I wonder if next episode we're gonna see a lot of Theodora or Luke or Nell even. Something I thought was interesting that we didn't really see in the first episode was that Nell had seemingly sort of gotten her life together, right? She was getting married. She seemed happy. She seemed well-adjusted. She seemed okay. So it's kind of interesting because in the first episode, like Theodora was like, yeah, because it sucks to be Nell. Like her life, like she's always in trouble. She's always going through a crisis. And it doesn't seem like she was in the flashbacks that we saw here. Like when they're dropping Luke off at rehab, she's just telling him like, hey, they have horses, like trying to make it okay. And then we see her getting married, and those are both happy, well-adjusted seeming moments of her adult life. So I'm really curious as to, you know, the ebbs and flows of her life as it progressed, because we haven't seen sort of way, you know, up and down, right? Like those are, we've seen her ups. I'm curious to see like the downs of what happened, because we also have seen a lot of Luke and his struggle. Like we saw Shirley not allowing him to come to Nell's wedding because he was not in a good space to allow Nell to have her day, which is just happy and not to have to worry about him. And so I'm really curious as to if Shirley ever told anybody about that encounter with Luke, or if Luke ever did, because it doesn't seem like anyone else knows. I think that it would be easy to sort of judge Shirley for that moment and say, like, she should have let Nell see Luke, or she should have let Luke experience it, because the way that she talked to him was very harsh. But I do think that if anybody watching has a family member who is an addict or has been an addict, and you've tried time and time again to help them, and time again it hasn't worked, it's very frustrating. And there does come a point where you have to, you know, you have to realize that you can only help somebody as much as they want to be helped, and it's really hard. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just saying I understand Shirley's frustration in that moment, and I understand her trying to protect Nell from whatever scene Luke might have caused, and to allow her to have that day where she can just be happy and it can be about her. I do wonder still what caused this for Luke, you know? I think that there is a lot of trauma. Like, who is the little girl that Luke saw? We saw her too in the woods, and like, how did that affect him going forward? Because little kid Luke seemed really happy and carefree, and I know that addiction is, it's complicated, right? It's not like this one event caused this. It's usually more nuanced than that, more complicated, like I said. So I'm not saying that seeing the little girl or whatever affected him to make him become an addict, but I'm saying that whatever trauma he experienced at Hill House definitely, I think, affected him negatively going forward in his life, and could have exacerbated or lent itself to what caused him to become an addict. I thought it was really sad to hear the mom talk about their forever house and how she's designing it, because we know that it doesn't happen. We know that she doesn't make it out of Hill House, and so I found that really sad. A lot of this episode I found profoundly sad. To see grief so prominently displayed and just so evident, knowing what's coming, I just think is really sad. And I thought that it was very poignantly and beautifully portrayed, because so much of this episode just got to me. I just felt this sort of profound sadness kind of just eking out of every moment of this episode, really. And I think it was beautifully done and very, very sad. A couple of mysterious things. Who is the guy that Shirley saw sitting on the couch, aka Nathan from One Tree Hill? But I mean, I know he's James Lafferty, but who is he to her in the context of the story? Something else I am curious about is the Forever House model porch light flashing to come home at the end of the episode. Is the mom trying to get them to come to Hill House? And why would she do that? Is she haunting Hill House? Also, does Shirley seems to really be like Steve, at least Steve in episode 1, and just not think that ghosts are real and all that stuff. However, she saw weird shit in Hill House. So like we saw like her and Theodora were with the broom and all the shaking and everything. And she said Nellie's in the red room before she got the call from Steve, right? It was like the day before, I think. Does she genuinely not remember that? I think that is all that I really have to say about this episode, though. I really enjoyed it. Well, it didn't make me happy, but it was interesting to watch. It's weird to say I enjoyed an episode that made me cry a lot, but I did really like it in a weird way. It felt very, I cannot articulate this very well right now at all. It was a good episode. It was very, very good. It was well told, well acted, all of the things. Can we not hurt cats though in the future? Please. That is what I would like to request, because I love cats and I did not love that section of it. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. I have loved reading all of your comments for episode 1, and obviously you helped me out because now I know that it's bent neck and not bit neck. So they're very helpful. No spoilers, please. If you want, you can watch the entire full-length reaction to this episode over on Patreon, which is linked in the description down below. There's no early access for Hill House, but there is full length. So get on that if you're interested, because I know that I have to cut out so much of this because it's very long. Anyway, I am going to stop rambling at you guys. I will see you for the next episode of Hill House whenever I can get it edited and uploaded. Until then, bye guys.